this is incredible.
Yeah, really. She'll tell you I do not get choked up, but this chokes me up. But I knew something big was coming. The Lord was giving me signs. And the Lord gave the perfect person to deliver the message to me. Because she called me on the phone. Okay, I'm not on Facebook much. So she called me on the phone. That's what I needed. And she said, have you heard of the stem cell patches? And I'm like, yeah, I have a special needs child. Stem cells are in the special needs world, but I've never heard of a patch. So I said no, and I'm sure she told me lots of things, but as a mom with a nonverbal child that's 17 years old and autistic, what I heard is it could help Jake. That's what I heard. She hit my hot button from the get-go. She said, I'll send you some videos. I said, don't bother, I'm not gonna watch them. I trust you, send it to me and we'll try it. John and I got started, my husband's John, we got started on the patches as part of the job description. Day one, I'm already breathing better. I had been struggling with breathing issues for 10 years. I went to Dr. Cox and said, I feel like I'm breathing through a straw. I run, I exercise, what the heck. Day one, I was breathing better. My son was calmer. You know, autistic children, sometimes they get a little spastic. He was calmer. My husband was sleeping. So if you haven't experienced the patches, please, I know it sounds ridiculous that something this small could be so profound, but it is. Just put it on. Open your heart and experience it for you.
Amen.
She doesn't know what slide is next, even though we've done this 100 times.
We've done it about 400 times. I'm still looking at the slides. This is to show you that anybody can do this. LifeWave has been around for over 20 years now. It is it's over 100 countries now. It's expanding like crazy. It's not a Me Too product. Nobody else has this. This is something that is completely LifeWave. You can see on the numbers up here, at 2021, a $20 million company. That's not bad, of course, but look at the difference in 2022 and 2023. The difference there, and it goes to $430 million in revenue. It was the X39 patch that did that. And then look at 2024 last year, we hit 600 million. The trajectory of this company, normally you flatline and you're going a little bit higher on your revenue each year as a company. This one's going vertical. It is exploding and you're in the right place at the right time tonight.
So I want to tell you about our founder and inventor, David Schmidt. So he actually was approached by our government to formulate a patch for our U.S. Navy SEALs. He is an inventor. He formulated the energy enhancer patch, and that birthed LifeWave. But his specialty isn't anti-aging, it is age reversing. So he studied stem cells and how to activate a person's stem cells for 10 years, spent $4.5 million to do it. And he said, I kept going and I kept going because the Lord called me to do it. I want to put it in perspective for you. When you think about the X39 patch, our stem cell patch, okay, Jennifer and I, we could found a company and make all kinds of claims. It makes us sexier. It makes us whatever. We can make claims. There's no regulation of that, right? But when you get a patent, which is what we have on X39, and we say it rejuvenates your stem cells, we have to prove that through a blood test, through urine, and other testing. So the patches are going to work for you. There's no doubt. I just don't know if you're going to wear it long enough to get your aha moment, but they work. Oh, you know what? Let me get smart here and forward the slide.
As Sherry was talking about, it's a patented product. And to do that, they've had over 80 case studies, 50 of which were exclusive. When they do the case studies, as in qualifying a little bit more, it's a little harder to pass some of these. And that's what we did with this stem cell patch. With this, it's, as we said before, it's not a Me Too product. It's not something that everybody has, and it's something that we are seeing. Look at the differences in what it does when you raise the level of the copper peptides in your body. It wakes up your stem cells. It helps with inflammation. It helps with a lot of things in your body, but that's what's happening with this patch, and this is part of the patent.
So you might not be aware of this, but our stem cells start to go dormant as we age. And you kind of know it if you think about if a 90-year-old scrapes themselves or bumps themselves, they get a bruise and it takes a few weeks for it to heal. Whereas when a 4-year-old does that, when a 4-year-old scrapes themselves and bumps themselves, right? How long does it take them to heal? Yeah, Glenda just said immediately. But what we want is our own body's stem cells. See, I was approached about stem cells for my son Jake, but I never bought into injecting someone else's stem cells into my child. I never felt like that was where the Lord was leading me. This activates my body's stem cells. By the time someone's 30, half their stem cells have gone dormant. So I hate to tell you, but I'm 60. Most 60-year-olds, almost all their stem cells are dormant. Well, you know what? I want to live a long time, but I want to live a long, healthy life.
This is X39, and how it works is a proprietary blend phototherapy. So with that, the patented nanocrystal technology, it's non-transdermal, no drugs, no chemicals, nothing going into your system. And then best of all is all of this being in the form of phototherapy. It's unbelievable what it's doing.
So benefits of X39. So Dr. Allen is going to speak tonight, but he would do events with us and he would say, you know, I keep hearing people talk about mental focus, energy, sleeping better. And it's like, it's a common thing that you hear from most people after they've been on the patch a while. Understand, some people feel the patch immediately, some don't. We say a sleeve, which is 30 patches for every decade of life. So if you're older, it might take you a few months before you have that aha moment. But here's the beautiful thing. You're going to have that aha moment if you simply keep going. And you know what? You can see the list here, but there's some crazy things that happen too. I like to say they're little miracles. Now, I always like to say, it is not the patch that healed me. The patch enabled my copper peptides to be raised, which elevated my stem cells so my body could heal myself as God designed it. Amen. So put in perspective, we don't treat, cure, prevent, diagnose anything. But yet Misty's mom goes into the doctor Monday to get her stent put in. They run the preliminary testing and Darlene no longer needs the stent. Wow. Yeah. Janelle gets started and Janelle says, I'm perfect. Well, she didn't say I'm perfect, but she said, I don't have any health issues. I work out. If you ever notice, she's high energy. And she said, well, maybe I've got this skin thing, the Lego or whatever it's called. Yeah, starting to go away. So, and I could go on and on and on and on, but for the sake of time, I won't. So you just have these little miracles occurring.
X39 long-term results. First few days, you're going to notice that first of all, the energy is what a lot of people say they notice, but when 4,000 genes begin to reset, so a lot's going on inside your body, within 6 weeks, your brain becomes balanced. I'm still waiting on that one. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased, and within 6 months, that reverses the age of your heart. The inventor says that for every 6 months that you wear the X39 patch, you reverse the age of your heart by 8 years. Think about that.
So how to wear the X39 patch? You can wear it in 2 different places, below the belly button, 2 fingers below the belly button. Or if you bend your head forward, a bone naturally arises and there's a little soft spot below that, and you can put it there. However, like when I had a little skin thing removed off my leg the X39 went right on my leg. You can put it on pain. Frankly, you can put it anywhere on your body. The product is going to work. These are just they're main meridians in your body, and it's where the test results that Jennifer talked about, that's where they were placing the patches. So that's how you can wear it, 12 hours on, 12 hours off. And how much water do you have to drink? A lot. I was very thirsty when I first started on it, and Pam, my sponsor, said, your body's detoxing, you're getting rid of junk. And I don't know about you, but I want junk out of the trunk. And John tells me it's not what you think it means, Sherry.
So it's a lot of professionals are using the X39 patch now. A lot of you, of course, know the names up here, RFK Jr. And we've looked at each other during this time that we've been learning about these patches. I said, is it just me, or is that man speaking a little bit better in his voice? You can see Leonard Floyd, and then David Beckham, Mike Tyson, Michael Phelps wore the Energy Enhancer patch when he swept Beijing and won all of those gold medals. So that tells you they're clean. There's nothing going into the system. And they had it all checked out to make sure you can keep all the medals.
So we have lots of patches, as you can see here, but where do you start? Anybody tell me, where do you start? Why? Keep it simple. Keep it easy for people to do. Anybody can peel and stick. A 4-year-old can peel and stick. So we want to make it easy, but it's also our main patches are these stem cell patches. So I like to say to people, you know what? They're like tools in my toolbox. I no longer buy Benadryl when a bug bites me. I slap glutathione on, which is our detox patch. If I feel sad, I put on Eon. That's our happy patch and our anti-inflammatory patch. If I can't sleep at night, I slap Silent Nights on my forehead. And if I drink too much wine, you know, when it's someone else is paying for it, sometimes it's easy to have the third glass, right? But if I drink too much wine, glutathione right here, and I don't feel like I had too much wine the night before. So they're like tools in your toolbox. I don't take over-the-counter stuff anymore. When I have a headache, LifeWave goes on my body. I reach for something that is non-transdermal and much healthier for me. Okay. I want to introduce you to Amanda Taylor. She's going to take you through the next 2 slides.
All right, so Celergize. Celergize, you have one on your table, so y'all can look at it, but it is an energizing blend of essential vitamins and minerals and amino acids. And so it leaves you refreshed and motivated and ready to start your day. So what you do is in the morning, you just put 2 scoops and 16 ounces of water, and then you drink it. Drink it up. So there's no GMOs, no sugar, no artificial flavors, and then it's a 30-day supply, and so that's great. So tonight only we have a special. So if you order or become a preferred customer and want to order a sleeve or more of patches, then you get a free jar of Celergize tonight. Or if you want to become a brand partner and join our team tonight, Core Advanced or Premium, you also get a jar of Celergize. Or if you are a brand partner already and you upgrade to a next level, you get a free jar of Celergize. Tonight only.
That's a pretty amazing deal.
$60, $70. You can mix it in anything. Yeah, it's great. It's like a lemon ginger flavor, so it's real light, refreshing. So our water machine is coming out in the next few weeks. This is unlike any other water machine you've ever heard of, okay? It has received a patent within 10 months, and they're gonna have at least 20 patents before it's all done. So the first system, there is like 3 phases of this water machine. The first phase, the water is filtered through 2 separate stages, removing contaminants, such as like heavy metals, microplastics, pharmaceuticals, you know, all the junk that's in our water today. It cleans it out. So then The second thing is it actually infuses light into the water. And so that light actually increases your metabolism. It turns on the energy and increases your collagen, which helps you to restore a youthful glow, I guess. But it also helps with pain relief and cognition and awareness. It also helps your cells to hold on to the water that we need to be drinking. So the treatment stage then charges the water with hydrogen. So that helps with antioxidants, anti-inflammatory response. It also helps to neutralize the free radicals, which are also linked to aging. So this machine is coming in the next few weeks, but it's only going to be for brand partners only in the US for now until they make more and distribute it throughout the other places.
The world.
Okay.
So we handpicked a few testimonials tonight. So if that's you, if you could come up front, that would be lovely, Rodney. So after we're just going to do 4, and then we're going to get right into our doctor's panel. Rodney is a friend of mine, a great builder in town if you need a builder. And he had quick results. So I want him to share his story.
How are y'all today? So, I'm going to kind of give you a quick timeline of my journey. So, at like 30.
Please use the microphone. I can't hear you.
Sure, I'm sorry. I'll give you a quick timeline of my journey. So, at like 35, I started experiencing some problems. So, I was sitting on the couch, and I told my wife, we need a new TV. And she said, why? I said, because the TV's messed up. So we ended up getting a new TV. And some other things started happening. I like the long distance shoot. And my father-in-law, former military, we went to the shooting range. And the target kept kind of disappearing. I bought a new scope. I said, Greg, can you take a look at this scope here? I think it's broken. He looked at it, he goes, no, nothing's wrong with it. It's fine. So I said, okay. So over time, I could tell my vision was leaving me. So we went and we did what everybody does is we started out with the eye doctor. Went to the eye doctor. He said, I can't find a prescription for you. So then we graduated to specialists. I went to I went to the lens specialist. I went to a glaucoma specialist. I went to a retina specialist. And just to hear the same thing, I don't know what's wrong with you. Finally, I had a gentleman tell me, you need to go see this doctor, Dr. John G. McHenry in Dallas. He looked at me for 10 minutes and he says, I know what you have. Intracranial hypertension. It's when fluid builds up in your head and puts pressure on your optic nerve and kills the cells in your optic nerve. Now, the thing that was debilitating for me is I'm an entrepreneur. I build homes on the side and I also own a transportation company. So I would drive big rigs when my drivers couldn't drive. I remember coming home to my wife and telling her, I can't drive anymore. I went out one night and I could not see the off ramps. I couldn't see the signs for the off ramps. It scared the living crap out of me. So I went through this long journey of depression. After going to John G. McHenry, which is a neuro-ophthalmologist, he started me on spinal taps to drain the fluid, lumbar punctures, spinal taps. And I did them every 3 months. And that did not work. So they had to be more aggressive. I ended up having brain surgery. They put a stent in. Even with the stent, I still was losing eyesight. So my doctor told me, he said, well, my job is not to regain your vision. My job is to keep your vision where it's at. And I had to accept that. I had no choice. And my vision was pretty much gone. Now I own a Corvette. I own a 1968 Nova. I love driving. I love shooting. So my eyes were everything to me. And I can remember sitting at the lake one time, just staring at the trees, thinking I may not be able to see these trees again one day. Well, being a builder, I went and purchased some land from Sherry. overheard her talk about some stem cells. We started talking, and she introduced me to the patch. Now, this is years now. So now we're like, we went from 35, I'm probably right around 40 at this point. Continue to lose vision after a brain stent, after these lumbar punctures. And they put me on so much medication that the pharmacist told me, look, I see your dosage keeps going up. It's not going to do nothing for you eventually. So they started out with a small bottle. I graduated to a bigger bottle. And then they started giving me the bottle that they actually fill the small bottles with. I mean, I was getting the big, huge bottles for prescriptions. I started wearing the stem cell patch. Actually, I started wearing it for my back. I did not start wearing it for my vision. It took about 3 months. I came home, I told my wife, I said, the blind spot in my right eye, I don't want to jump to conclusions, but it's shrinking a little bit. I didn't want to say anything at first because I just didn't want to, psych myself out. So after continuing to be on the patch, I'm off of medication. I went from taking 3 pills to at the end, I was taking 8 pills a day. And I have not taken any kind of acetazolamide for probably 8 months now. Awesome. I'm strictly on the patch. So I can only tell you a couple of things is consistency, patience, and prayer, is what helped me. Just be consistent because it may not work for you. And I could think if I just tried the patch for a week and gave up, where would I be today? But my vision has not just gotten better, it's been restored. I'm not 20/20 yet, but I still can go and get a driver's license. I still can drive. I can do a lot of things. What good is a builder if I can't see colors? If I can't pick out product? So I'm just blessed, and I can only speak from my experience. Now, some people say 12 on, 12 off. For me, I got so excited when I started seeing my vision improve. I still today keep my patch on sometimes 3 days straight. I will keep it. I will put it on. I will put it on, take a shower.
You did not hear that. That is, we know each other well enough to do that, but okay, we recommend 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Okay.
You gotta try it for yourself.
So we can leave this place on time. We'd love to hear your story.
Okay. Hello, my name is Tiffany Martinez, and I am married to Santiago Martinez, who is the brand partner. My story I'm going to tell you tonight starts after we've been patching for about a year. What happened is I was feeling great. I was feeling energetic and very happy on the X39. And then perimenopause entered my life and crashed into a disease I'd been diagnosed with a long time ago called PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I went from feeling really good to feeling really dead, laying on my couch and praying and saying, God, I feel dead. Why am I not dead? This is not good. My chief complaint was having no energy, like completely fatigued to the point of not being able to do anything. Pain in my joints. I had no focus. I couldn't even do a project. To make dinner took way too much energy and effort. And so I had just given up. I was ready to go to one of those places and have the pellets put in my arm. I didn't care what it took. I didn't care what chemicals were going in my body. I need to feel better. And then I was talking to one of my beautiful patchy friends, and she said, hey, there's actually a protocol for that. Why don't you look at it? And so I did, but I kept my appointment. And I got there, and they were closed, even though I had an appointment. And I really felt like God said, and there's your sign. So I've been patching with the menopause protocol for 2 months now. I feel like me. I feel happy. My husband likes to say the cranky pants have been put away. So, yes, and I can actually hold a thought in my head, which is a beautiful thing. So, y'all, if you've not been patching yet, get patching, get your life back so you can live it out loud.
Amen.
Okay, I'm Jennifer again. Sherry and I have known each other for way too long, so I can tell everything about everybody in this room. I rode and trained equestrian show jumping and dressage horses for 30 years. I was a silver and bronze medalist in the United States Dressage Federation. I did a lot. I competed professionally. I did a lot of damage to my back, my sciatica. I've done so much in the riding field. Fast forward, the back got worse and worse. Over the last 15 years, they'd gotten to the point where I was having to lay down on the floor suddenly and my legs would go numb. And then 2 minutes of not being able to move your legs, that's a scary long time. So I became a recluse. Sherry, old friend Sherry, tells me about this patch. And I said, what are you talking? I thought she was nuts, a sticker. But I was a sticker. I was so desperate because I have a spinal fusion. I've done 6 nerve injections. I've got sciatica. They've done all sorts of things down my body, degenerative disc disease. I'm sorry, I was a wreck. She tells me about this. I put the patch on. I went from, I'd say, a 10 to, my normal pain level was an 8. It went to a high 6 in about 15 minutes. Nothing had ever worked for me. They'd already put me in pain management. All they wanted to do was give me drugs, but nothing worked. I'm sorry I get emotional about it, but night and day. I was having those spells where I'd have to lay down on the floor and wonder if I could get up again. Was having those 3 to 4 times a week. I've had 2 in a year. I've been on these patches 16 months. I've had 2 spells since then. And my pain level went from, over a 2-month period, my pain level went from an 8 to a 1. Most days it's 0. It's incredible.
So I wanted to share my son Jake's story. If you know anyone that has a special needs child, I want to encourage you to really share the patches with them. Get out of your comfort zone and share it. Because again, what I heard was it could help Jake. My son is awakening. It's amazing the differences in him. I could come up with 20 pictures of things that he's doing now that he wasn't doing a year and a half ago when I got started. So literally, just to take you through the few of the pictures on the slide, Jake loves motorcycles. My husband has a big Harley in front of our house. He never gets on it. But you can tell he loves it. He always goes up to it. At Chuck E. Cheese, they have a motorcycle. He never went up to it. They had this ride there or game there for a year. How long do you think he had to be on patches before he ran up to it and got on? Guess, 1 week. 1 week. In fact, it was the very next time he was at Chuck E. Cheese. He got on a motorcycle. She sent me a picture. I wasn't there. And I'm like, are you kidding me? And it's just one thing after another. There's a picture of Jake at the water park there. And in the water park, he never would wear the wristband, which when you go places, they want you to wear a wristband sometimes. That was always a major ordeal for us. And he started wearing a wristband. What I can tell you is my son is awakening. He is much calmer. Dr. Cox sees him in his office. And you just notice such a difference with him. I mean, people at Willowbrook that I don't even know when we're sitting there have come up to me and said, what are you doing? I see such a difference in your son. I didn't even know they knew me. I didn't know them, but they're seeing a difference in my child. So if you know somebody struggling, Jake had a reaction to his 6-month vaccines. If you know somebody struggling, please share the patches with them. You never know the life that is going to change. Okay, so now I'm going to ask our doctors to come up to and share their stories on our doctors panel. If you would give them a round of applause for Daniel tonight. Shane's just learning to drive this thing.
Do you have a license for that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Cochran, do you and Dr. Cox want to kick us off?
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to just pass the mic to y'all.
I'm Katrina Cochran. I'm a retired clinical psychologist. I had a clinical practice in Oklahoma City for about 30 years. Traditionally trained medical model. You hurt, you take a pill. You're sick, you take a pill. You've got something wrong, you go to surgery. That's my training. And then in 2024, I ended up probably as physically ill as I have ever been in my life prior to my thyroid and breast cancers. And I had an irregular EKG. This wonderful diagnostician, Kelly Cox, who is my NP, said, oh, well, let's just take a look at it for a month or two. And I said, nope, I want to see a cardiologist today, if I can, because everyone in my family except one grandmother died of cardiac issues. I went in, got on a monitor with an AFib, couldn't manage it with medication. So in April of 2024, I had an ablation. And then I noticed a little pain in my hip. I'm thinking, I'm old. I'm 75 years old. My hips are going. It's probably arthritis. No, it was vascular disease. So a few months later, I had a left hip replaced and then a right hip replaced. And all that did was get my gut torn up. So I ended up with a gastroenterologist and another fourth hospitalization. And I came out of that in May of 2024, almost 76 years old, with 4 anesthesias, and I was a wreck. My skin was awful. It looked kind of gray. I looked old. I have never looked old. I want everyone to understand that. So I'm sitting in my house thinking, what is going on with me? And Sherry came over and she basically said, so where is your American Express? And I'm listening to her talk about these patches. And she's saying, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do that. And I'm saying, no, I'm not in my brain, but I'm smiling. But I decided, why not give it a try? I felt awful. And so I ordered the patches. I went in on a diamond level. I said, listen, if we're going in, we're going all in. So I made a big commitment because Sherry's been in health and wellness most of her adult life. And so I thought, okay, before I get all these other patches, I'm just going to try the skin patch because with that gray and wrinkles and the old lady look. So I started wearing the Alavita patch 2 inches below my belly button every night. And within 30 days, ladies and gentlemen, my crepe paper arms, 95% healed. I'm now 77 years old. Do you think this looks like a 77-year-old arm? No, it does not. It looks like a 60 or 57-year-old arm. I'm also a former Miss Oklahoma Senior America. And when I went to my pageant last April, I was showing off my arms, finally in a sleeveless gown with my crown and sash. And I had 2 of the women come up to me and say, this is awesome. But here's what really made a difference. In June, after I did the Alavita patch, I said, I'm going to try this other stuff. I'm going to do the 39, I'm going to do the glutathione, get some detox. And so I went to Kelly and I said, you've got that lab from when I came out of the hospital in May of 24, right? He said, yep. So I went through expecting 7, 8, 9 months before I would see any real change. October, 5 months into wearing the 39 and glutathione, he ran that metabolic panel again. Perfect heart, perfect lungs, perfect everything. And my liver enzymes had dropped by 4 points. And notice that glass of wine that's still on my table? 4 points. Huge. So I am a major believer. I tell everybody, I'm worse than a new Christian. I can't stop talking about these patches.
Yeah, I thought she.
I just have one more thing to say. This is without a doubt. Now, I was on a medical staff in Mercy Hospital in Oklahoma City for 30 years. I worked with tons and tons of physicians. This nurse practitioner is, in my opinion, the best. Not only is he a good treatment specialist, he is a fabulous diagnostician. And if you don't have the right diagnosis, you're not going to get the right treatment. This man does it all.
Amen.
I'll pay you for that.
But not nearly enough.
No. Honestly, when she first came to me with these patch ideas, I thought, what can it hurt? It was one of those things to where the Western medicine mentality is medicine, medicine, medicine. And that's what we're trained for. Luckily, I've been blessed with good mentors and good physicians around me that always wanted to look outside the box and try to think of naturopathic, homeopathic. And that's really the true definition of holistic care, is not just one methodology. It's multiple methodologies bringing together to take care of the patient's problems. I didn't believe her, and I really didn't. I mean, it was surprising, and not only did she come down in her liver enzymes, and it was from the alkaline phosphatase went from 134 to like 126, I believe. It went back within the normal limits. While her triglycerides, and if you're not familiar with that, triglycerides lead to fatty liver. While her triglycerides went up, and she's okay with me talking about it, so I'm not breaking it up. So, and that's counterintuitive. When your triglycerides go up, you should have increased fatty liver. And there was no evidence of that. So not only did it come down, but it came down inversely proportionate to her triglycerides. It just didn't make any sense to me. And the only thing that she had changed was using the patches. So it was a pretty incredible, enlightening moment for me to take note of it. She helped me. I had 50% tears of my left rotator cuff that I'd been nursing for years. And she brought me some patches and said the LifeWave and got it on there. And I was like, oh, this isn't going to work. This is witch doctor stuff. This can't be real. I put it on 5 minutes. I was like, all right, I can grip my hand a little bit. 15 minutes, a little bit better. 2 days of the 12 on, 12 off. 2 days on, one day off. So, I got you, brother. I got you. It was amazing. I could reach my seatbelt again. I mean, I couldn't reach my seatbelt. Anything that I had to do with my left arm, my left shoulder was non-existent. Started wearing them. I don't wear them now because I feel completely healed in my left shoulder. I've not felt completely healed in my left shoulder for years. And that's for physical therapy, injections, multiple things. So we got 2 of us up here that initially were very hesitant and are believers now.
Jennifer said she'd rescue me.
I'm here to rescue.
Ask some questions.
This is Dr. Carl Sheffron. He's been my dentist for, 15 years. Long time in Mineola. Yeah. We don't admit to anything. So we have had a long relationship of knowing each other, trusting each other. And I knew some things about Dr. Sheffron that I ended up calling him about these patches. And I wanted him to tell you what he's experienced now that he has been wearing the X39 patch and also the energy enhancer. Tell him what you were before.
Well, basically, I retired 3 years ago. I've been practicing dentistry since 1970, before most of you were born. No. I remember Eisenhower. No, I don't remember. but the reality is, when you practice dentistry so long, you start paying the price. Your back goes, your hands go, your hearing goes. Oh boy, does your hearing go. And just a lot of things start happening to you, and you blame it all on old age. We're trained to do that. You have to go more often too. It's one of those things. And the reality is, I accepted all of it. And then Jennifer came and talked to me about the patches. And I'd had another friend who started me on some patches, a different brand, not as good, but they were passable. And so I started doing them. Lo and behold, more energy and quite frankly, more stuff started coming back rather than going.
I'm not sure I understood what that means.
Look, on my next birthday, I'm going to be 79. Okay. But all I can say is I'm just going to keep taking these and seeing how much better I keep feeling. And if a year from now I'm dancing on the tables, you'll know it worked.
This is Dr. Shane Allen.
Hi, I'm Dr. Shane Allen. I'm a chiropractor. I practice in Lindale, Texas. Well, I haven't for the last several months. But my journey started October 11th of 2016. I had a stroke and it left me paralyzed on my whole left side of my body. I didn't know how I was going to work or take care of my family or even practice chiropractic again. Very rough time in my life, but you go to therapy, you battle through it, and I got about 80% better. I was moving good, actually could pass for not ever having a stroke. And I was doing a marketing meeting with BNI, and I met Sherry Jarvis, and she was selling ID Life, I think, back then. And we met, and nothing came of it, but about, several months later, she came into my office and said, "Hey, do you remember me?" And so we got to talking, and she was talking about the patches. And, first it's like, okay, direct marketing. Do I really want to get into this again? Do those products really work? And so she talked me into trying a week's worth of the X39. And to be honest with you, I was open-minded. I had tried nutrition, laser therapy. I've tried doing a lot of things to help overcome problems with the stroke and get back. Because, having a stroke is like being 2 years old all over again and having to learn how to walk. I can't run, I can't jump, but, it's about the feeling alive that you miss most. So I tried the patches for the week, and I told her, maybe I was just sleeping a little better because I didn't sleep deeply at all, and I was waking up like I had just been hit by a Mack truck. I was so out. And didn't think anything of it, and a week goes by, and I just felt this little itch in my head saying, hey, there's something about those patches. Now, whether I believed it or not, my brain was on point with what was going on, so I called her up and I signed up back then what was a gold member, and just to try them and, give them out to people and some of my patients and see how they liked them. And about 3 weeks in, the magic started to happen for me, like being able to whistle. You don't think that's something exciting, but I couldn't whistle. And then I started being able to whistle again. Like, whoa. But the biggest thing as the months went on was always having to look at the ground to walk because you had foot drop, which Sherry and Jennifer experienced in the airport, is not a good thing. And it'll take you right down. But I got to where that wasn't as bad. I didn't have to look at the ground to walk, and I felt like my feet were where they were supposed to be, which is something the brain hadn't done for me in 9 years. And so I was like, okay, I'm on board. So I get into this, and I'm like, well, what are the patches we got? So I teamed it up with the Eon patch. And let me tell you, if there was one patch that I could recommend for everybody, it would be the Eon patch, because not only is it good for inflammation, which I do struggle with, it was awesome for elevating my mood. I had been through so much and struggled, and I got on that patch, and all of a sudden, my mood was up here. I had joy. It was amazing. I hadn't felt that in 40 years. It was surreal. So then I give it to my daughter, who was battling suicide and battling depression and not wanting to go to school. She didn't have any friends. 3 months on the Aeon patch, and she's got 8 friends. They're coming to her birthday. She's joining clubs at school, not complaining about school. So I was like, wow, there really is something to this. And so, I start talking to my patients about them, and I do start to get a lot of my patients to be preferred customers and on the products. And the most common things that they say are the increase in energy. My 83-year-old patients are coming and going, wow, I'm sleeping better too. But I've had patients having urinary incontinence completely go away just by being on the X39. And people with colon cancer just getting tremendous results by being on the patch with dealing with what was going on with chemo and different things like that. So super positive product. When she showed me the product, I guarantee the first thing I did was go to the internet. I'm a science geek, and I started looking everything up. And when David Schmidt was explaining in his video how
I enjoyed teaching. I loved coaching basketball, but every time I looked in our bank account, it made me sick. And I was chasing trophies, and yet my family was suffering, and that was hard to come to terms with. So when we got involved in this industry, it was like, man, sometimes people are just looking like, give me something I can run with, give me an opportunity I can run with. And that was us, and it's changed everything. Now this, when you think about what we have here, it's a one-of-a-kind, patented wearable technology that no one else has. And we come from the world of supplementation, and the fact is there's a lot of vitamins out there, and there's a lot of energy drinks, there's a lot of protein shakes, there's a lot of collagen things, right? CBD oil, I mean, there's a lot of things, and some good companies, but the fact is, heavy competition. And what we saw here was, wow, we can actually, this is so easy to share, you slap a patch on, literally. That's the coaching that you do. You slap a patch on, you drink plenty of water. But look at these, I mean, I'm not gonna read through all of them, but some of you can picture yourselves there, and you may be doing great, but even financially you may be doing great, but maybe you don't have the time freedom, right? And with this, we know that the freedoms that's giving people, it's not just financial freedom, but when you have that under control, and here's the thing, you may love what you do, and you may just want to do that forever. You don't have to quit what you're doing, But if this is your income right now, and then all of a sudden, this income on the side, we can get up to this level or even beyond, you're going to have some choices, right? Michael Jordan once said, money, isn't everything. It just gives you choices, right? Now, so anyway, that's be thinking, what could this do for you? What to look for? Think about this company, right? Who's at the top? Okay, you just heard all about David Schmidt. I mean, guys, he's just a brilliant mastermind, right? High impact consumable product. I always say, and not to take offense if you sell watches or jewelry, but the fact is, you can only sell some, to somebody pretty much one time, right? These are things that people need, and when they run out, they order more and order more and order more. That is where the passive income comes from. A company that's solid in performance, a 20-year-old track record, right? A debt-free company that is on the rise. I don't know if it said that on the one slide, but we're up like 3,000% in the last few years. Number one company in momentum and direct sales globally for 4 years straight. So there it is right there. Went from 20 million that sat at for about 15 years, and it is just skyrocketed. And we're not limited to just the USA, right? It's worldwide. There it is, 3,000% increase. And it's not a Me Too product. I think that's huge because, again, you're not just saying, hey, ours is better than all the rest out there, right? That's one thing. That's tough when you're competing with everyone. But when it's not a Me Too product, then you're not competing. There is no competition. And I think this kind of shows it, right? The red ocean, that's where we lived for a lot of years. We did really well with that. But at the same time, if you're competing, if there's heavy competition, it's tough. It's really tough to step in and just get somewhere fast if that's where you want to go. And so the blue ocean, this is a blue ocean opportunity, one of a kind, patented. It's actually patented through 2040. So the next 15 plus years, it's just us. And virtually, most people don't know about this. If you look at all the contacts in your phone, most people on there don't know about this. And so here we are with this opportunity being ahead of the curve, and we have the opportunity to share it with the world and do something truly amazing. And by the way, we're just kind of, okay.
The one thing that I was thinking of here is that, we're wearing these stickers, but it's light therapy. So we're starting to see light therapy, red light therapy. We have an infrared sauna in our home. I was using that. I just never knew that we could get light therapy in the form of this amazing patch. So when you're talking to people and you're talking about light therapy and you're talking about, hey, this is my stem cell reactivation patch, people are hearing about stem cells, they're hearing about light therapy. they've never heard of this. So it makes it such a huge opportunity.
No, it's a great point. And I was just going to say, we're kind of sharing an overview. I mean, you're getting a quick, fire hose version here. If you want to learn on, more on what we're discussing tonight and like, how do I grow this business? How do I do this at a high level? Then come Saturday morning, because we'll be back for the Saturday morning training. You don't want to miss that. This just shows, the most prestigious award in direct sales. We received it 2 straight years, okay, because of company growth and where this is going. So, okay, as far as how to get involved, okay, we call it good, better, best. So customer preferred. There's always going to be customer opportunities. You can always join as a customer. For us, we're like, this is such a blessing. Why not share the blessing? So we see it, through the eyes of why not just, become a brand partner, and that way you have your own website, you can share it, right? So, but obviously there are always customer versions. Go ahead, babe.
Let me add another thing. So we like to say here, good, better, best. But what we say to people is, a lot of people will say, and maybe some of you said the same thing I said, if it works for me, I may know a few people that this could help. And so if you are here tonight and you're thinking, wow, this looks really great, I want to try it, but if it works for me, I may know some people that might be interested. We say, here is your good, better, best. And Todd will talk about what that means.
Yeah, awesome. So it truly is. I mean, core, that's the initial thing, the initial way to get involved. You get 3 sleeves or a 3-month supply for $295. That's the beginner pack. Okay, that's someone that just hey, I just want to try products for a little bit, and that's fine. Again, there's no pressure. I mean, you guys join however you see fit. That's the good. The better is advance. Now, mind you, as at the core level, you can't advance and rank. You can't. You can get paid a little bit through commissions and things like that. You can't rank advance. You can't, really start to earn the residual income. So advance is where that kind of starts. And that's $535. You get 6 sleeves or a 6-month supply. Obviously, couples and people that just kind of see it more from a business mindset will join either at the advance or then the premium. The premium is, I'm all in. I want to do this. I want to help a lot of people. And I want to, it's like if you start a hot dog stand, you're going to get a lot of hot dogs, right? You're going to get a lot of hot dogs, a lot of buns, and but you get 20 sleeves of the X39. Now this is, I'll just mention, we focus on the X39 because that's the hero product. But along with the 11 other patches, a lot of people like to mix and match and like to customize. So they say, well, I don't maybe want the 20 X39, so maybe I'll back it off and maybe to 14 or 15, creating more space in your cart. And then you've heard about the Eon patch, the energy enhancer, the carnosine, the glutathione, all the different ones. The X49, here comes my wife again. And so a lot of people like to mix and match. So, but that at the premium, that's where you can fully maximize not just your discount, but also maximize your earning potential. And here's the cool thing too. Let's say theoretically you joined as a core or an advanced. You can always upgrade. Okay, you can always upgrade to the next level. And so, a lot of people do that. We actually did that. We started at the middle, and then 2 days later we said, what are we doing? Like we want to do this. Let's get to premium. So 2 days later we got to premium, and then we got out of the, and this goes for any business owners out there, we got out of the red into the black the very next day. Literally one day. So when you think about overhead and different things like that, we had a debt-free business in one day.
This is why I have to grab the mic. So when you're thinking about that premium level, if you're anything like me, I'm always telling Todd how much money I'm saving on things. It's like the way I'm thinking. And with that premium bundle, you are getting the best price point for the patches, $87 for the X39 instead of $99, saving on shipping, and then $43 for the other add-on patches. So think about over time, if we say, David Schmidt says, give this a month for every decade of your life. Well, I'm closer to 60 than I am 50. I knew I was going to give this 6 months, and by the time Todd gets started on patches, there's our premium order right there. Plus, it's also nice to have sleeves on hand, because when you're talking to a friend, a lot of times people will say, I want to get started on it right now. And you have that sleeve and you can say, hey, when your order comes in, you can just trade me out. So you have stock, you have supply to be able to do that. And these do have a 2-year shelf life on them as well. So that's something good to know.
Yep, and I know we went through a premium order very, very quickly. So again, good, better, best. It's simply, for us, we just wanted to get in the driver's seat, right away. We wanted to be able to win and help others win faster, so we got to premium right away. So 6 ways to earn. There's always going to be retail profit, right? When people point and click, because as soon as you sign up, you have your own website. So when people point and click on your website, you're going to receive retail profit and commission there. Product intro bonuses when you have people join your business and they say, hey, I want to do what you're doing, or if you reach out to someone and, we always say pain is universal. You're not looking for just a workout person or somebody who wants to lose weight or something like that. This is for everyone. The market is everyone. And so when people join you, you'll receive between $35 and $405 per person that joins you based on what level they enter at, okay? $35 if they join you as a core. If they do the middle, the advanced, you'll make $75. They come in at premium, you make $405. And quick example, we had one gal who's actually a customer for about 3 weeks, and she said, these things are amazing. She called us and she said, I have so many people asking me about these patches. What do I do? And we said, we need to get your own website, and not just be a customer, but become a brand partner. And she said, how do I do that? And we gave her the same scenario, good, better, best. And she said, I know these things work. So she's like, I'm swiping the card. And so she did the full premium the next 2 days, just based on her excitement. She didn't know how the science worked, just based on her, we call it ignorance on fire. She just shared her excitement. And people say, well, how did you do it? That's a big thing, because people will say, how did you join, right? What did you do? And people will do what you did. So she signed 5 premiums in 2 days. And so her first week, she made over $2,500, game changer, right? So that's a product intro bonus, obviously upgrade bonuses, binary commissions, matching, those are the residual income as your team starts to grow. And the cool thing is too, this is called a binary comp plan, which means you only have to build 2 teams. A lot of people, raise your hand just real quick if you've done any type of direct sales in the past. Lots of hands, right? And it's all based on you and what you bring to the table as far as creating that volume. And sometimes it's hard to get the volume going. Well, here you have help doing that, right? With your sponsor and people above you in your upline, they're actually adding people to one of your legs as well, which is really, really exciting. So I reached out to a football coach friend of mine, and I explained that to him, and he said, I don't get it. I said, you don't have to, just trust me. And so he said, okay, I'll do the middle one. So he did the middle pack, and by the time his products came in, his patches came in, 5 days, he already had 8 people under him on his team. He said, how did that happen? I didn't do that. I said, I told you, we help you. He said, I really like this. I'm going to do the premium. So he upgraded to the premium. Incentive trips. I mean, goodness, the incentive trips are amazing. I think we've been on 5 or 6 in 2 years, including Greece, to Santorini and Mykonos. I mean, Venice, Italy. Some amazing places. And LifeWave does it right. They treat you right for people who really get out and share this. Why this is for you? So obviously, work from home, being your own boss. A lot of people like that option. Part-time effort to build full-time income. For me, I just didn't want to have a job. And once you attain that freedom, you kind of become unemployable, actually. And so I just never want to go back to a job. That's just me. You may like your job, but for me, I just want to be free. Easy duplicatable system. If you don't have something duplicatable, then it's really tough to get moving, right? Look at this room. Look what Sherry and all the leaders have done here, right? Just tremendous what's happening here in Tyler, Texas. Proven success system. You need a system, right? You can't just get in and throw mud on the wall. There's got to be a system in place, which we have. Lucrative pay plan. If I could sit here and make compensation claims and all these things, guys, it's amazing. I mean, it would blow people away to know what's there for you, and you know, so we're extremely excited about where we are and where we're going. Yeah, go ahead, Beck.
I think the one thing, it really hit me, and the doctor that was a dentist, Dr. Sheffron, when you said that, you know, as you age, you just kind of accept it, right? And that really hit me because, you know, I think for me, I just had accepted that I was going to deal with chronic fatigue. I was going to deal with this chronic thing my whole life. And I also accepted that we were just going to live paycheck to paycheck. We were not going to, you know, it was just going to be the way that it was going to be. And I think, you know, many of us live that way and we quit dreaming. You know, we quit dreaming about the possibilities for us as we start to get older. And, you know, so when you're looking at why LifeWave, why do something? I mean, many of you are busy. We were busy, 5 kids, 3 grandbabies, crazy plate of life, you know, thinking of adding something else. But this really goes with you wherever you go. You know, you're going to be hearing about people that are dealing with things that these patches can help. And you're also going to be hearing about people that are looking for money for gas and groceries, you know, let alone vacations and, you know, dreams. And so, you know, my advice is get started. What do you have to lose? You know, we have been involved with this company for 2 years, over 2 years, and the sweeter we get, the closer we get to David Schmidt, to the leadership, the sweeter this company is. We're so proud to be a part of this. We're proud to have the people in this room that are dedicated to you. They're dedicated to your better health, but they're also dedicated to your better future. So, you know, our advice is get with the person that invited you here tonight. Get your questions answered. I know that there is a deal with Cellergize, and I'm just telling you that stuff is amazing. Multi-mineral drink. Our bodies need minerals, and this drink is no caffeine, but is phenomenal. So there is, you know, an offer tonight for, you know, becoming a customer. Our advice, do one of the bundles. Do, you know, the core, the advanced, or premium. Do one of the bundles. But if you can't do that, however you get started is fine. But start your journey tonight. Don't walk out that door. What we know is that, you know, we have a tendency to put things off. And I put this off for 6 or 7 months. And, you know, I don't look back on that time with regret, but I do know that the day I made the decision that, you know what, I am going to do this patch, it completely changed our lives, and we're just getting started. So we're so excited to help you on your journey. You know, it's a blessing to be here. It's a blessing to meet you, to hear your stories and know that, you know, this is truly just the beginning for all of us. And it just starts with you. And that leads us into our last slide.
I think we should drop the mic right there because that was something. That was something. So guys, yeah, just look at the slide. I mean, where the company's going, what's possible. You know, LifeWave pays out 60% to the distributor base or to the brand partners. It means LifeWave pays brand globally over 300 million in revenue according to their individual efforts. Okay, so what is it?
Wow.
Well, right, I was saying right here that as far as what they paid out, the revenue well over 500. Actually, it's over 600 this past year. So the growth is astronomical, guys. Be a part of something special. The cool thing is, you know, what you do. You're not trying to just sell someone on, hey, you know, here's this product, right? It's literally changing lives. And when you can see what we've seen. Look at the stories in the room tonight, and there are so many more. I could share, you know, so many more. We hear new stories every single day. So I love this quote, though. The opportunity of a lifetime needs to be seized during the lifetime of the opportunity. Guys, this is it. You know what I mean? This is the lifetime we feel of it's the opportunity of a lifetime. But, you know, 2 years from now, guess what? A lot more people are going to know about this, you know. And the worst thing is to go to your or to realize that a friend or family member is already on the patches because you didn't reach out. And I remember in our former business somebody saying that. I said, oh, they're just trying to get people to act or something. And I'm like, no, that's for real. I mean, that starts to happen when momentum starts and the huge tidal wave comes. And so it's really exciting where we're going, guys. So we hope you join us. Get your questions answered. We'll be around. And then Sherry, if you want to come up and end it. But thanks so much for your time, guys. We're honored to be here with you. And if you have any tough questions, then ask Shannon because she's the best. Thank you.
Hey, I know we're running over, but I just want to say one thing. Our very first event, we had 39 people at it. Our second event, Todd and Tony came out, we had about 120 people. Our third event, we had 168 people, which blew my mind. I don't know how many here we have tonight. 213. Heather says we have 213 people here tonight. So that is all because the product works. I just want to remind you, the training Saturday is 10 to 12. It's at Cascades in the wine room, so it's just downstairs. So we'd love to see you there Saturday. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. We love each and every one of you. We're grateful for you. We are all children of our Most High God. God is in me. I speak this so profoundly to you because He is what brought me here, and I always believe we need to stay in the flow of the Lord. If your gut is moving you tonight to do something, please listen to it because I did and my life changed. Thank you so much for being here.